So 63 says, a recent study concludes that prehistoric birds, unlike modern birds, were cold-blooded. Okay, so we're saying that old birds were cold-blooded, where modern birds, I guess, are not cold-blooded. This challenges a widely held view that modern birds descended from warm-blooded birds. Okay. The conclusion is based on the existence of growth rings in prehistoric birds' bodily structures. Okay, so we're saying that we used to think that modern birds descended from warm-blooded birds because of the existence of growth rings in prehistoric birds' bodily structures, which are thought to be found only in cold-blooded animals. Oh, okay. So our recent studies conclusion is based on this. So,
yeah, I was trying to figure out what
yeah,
from.
yeah. Sorry, their conclusion. Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, what? Okay, so the recent studies conclusion comes from this. Another study, however, disputes this view. Okay, so we dispute the view on the fact that prehistoric or that existence of growth rings are only in cold-blooded animals. And this other study concludes that prehistoric birds had dense blood vessels in their bones, which suggests that they were active creatures and therefore had to be warm-blooded. Okay, so which of the, sorry, I'm just going to answer this question because this is a really hard question. Which one of the following is true most helps to resolve the dispute described above in favor of one party to it? Okay, so we have to like just resolve this dispute in favor of one of the parties. So either it is that they are, so okay, so our one fact is that having growth worms are only in cold-blooded animals, and then they think that they were cold-blooded, and then our other fact is that prehistoric birds had dense blood vessels in their bones, which suggests that they were warm-blooded. Okay, so A says some modern warm-blooded species other than birds have been shown to have descended from cold-blooded species. Okay, so at least one modern warm-blooded species that's not a bird have been shown to came from cold-blooded species. I don't like that it's so mild where it only uses the word one, but I like how it's kind of like contradicting it.
I'm confused with what it's saying.
Yeah. So at least one modern warm-blooded species that's not a bird has come from a gold. Well, I don't like this one because it's not. I guess we don't care about things that are not birds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cross that off. B says having growth rings is not the only. Okay, we don't care that having growth rings isn't the only physical trait of like cool. It's still a physical trait, so that doesn't help. C says modern birds did not evolve from prehistoric species of birds. I feel like that doesn't support either one of them. They both think they came from prehistoric, so that's not supporting either of them.
I was like, where did this one come from?
Right. D says dense blood vessels are not found in all warm-blooded. Okay. Just because dense blood vessels are not in all warm-blooded species.
But not in all, but.
Okay. But this would support it if we were saying that, oh, birds had dense blood vessels but are still cold-blooded, but we're saying that they had dense vessels and are warm-blooded. So D would actually like weaken it. And then E says in at least one cold-blooded species, the gene that is responsible for growing rings is also responsible for dense blood vessels. Mm-hmm. Yes, because we're saying like, hey, there's at least one species out there that has a gene that causes both of these things, and that's where the discrepancy comes from. What? That was a very hard question.
I know.
Wow.
I was like, huh?